Hey guys, welcome to the show. Subscribe, rate, and review. Uh, Couple things. One, my special is still doing well on the iTunes. You could buy that. Just go to iTunes Music, Keith Reza, make it happen. Purchase it. Support me. I'm also on Cameo doing Mother's Day, Father's Day. Cheap stuff. Usually I charge $15, but hey, I said, why not charge for $5? Anyways, Alan Lee won't be here today. I get a lot of questions about if Alan Lee's off the podcast. He is not off the podcast. Just when we're recording, it's not matching with his schedule. So that's why Victor Pacheco is being the trusty Nightwing to my Batman. So Alan Lee still gets first dibs, but like I said, it's just not matching up with his schedule and the guest schedule. So so it happens when you have a career, you know. Second thing, I will be the Lone Ranger today. Victor Pacheco will not be here. So if you guys who are, I also am getting a lot of messages how you guys are really enjoying Victor. He won't be here today either. What else? I just got home from my day job, so I'm kind of rushing and all that stuff. But we have a great guest. You've seen her on the Tonight Show, Comedy Central, Showtime. It's going to be really fun. And, I'm excited. You guys are going to be excited too. If you like the show, subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend. Support us on all social media at Reza Riffs. We need the support, people. We're coming up to almost 200 episodes. And we love the support already, but we need more so we can get another 200 episodes. Anyways, that's enough of my jabbering. Get ready. Hope you enjoy the show with Soltanovich. Enjoy.
You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Sorry about that. My email, vanished. The Zoom link vanished. So
Yeah. No, I get it because email is I think one of the worst inventions ever because you could get an email and then the next thing you know you get spam. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, yes, that's for sure. But what happened was it didn't load on my laptop where I was looking for it. And I was like, people are texting you, they're sending you Instagram messages, DMs, right? They message you on Facebook, they email you, and I was like, wait, where did he send it? But I found it.
I apologize. I probably should have just sent it through the Facebook. The problem is I don't like sending stuff through Facebook because you never know if you're communicating with a real person. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So,
And I am a bot, and I tricked you. I got you.
I was like, I fell for the oldest trick in the book. I don't know. Well, thank you so much for doing it. I usually have a trusty sidekick, but he canceled at the last second because he has the flu. So I think that means COVID. I don't know.
The flu can mean so many things nowadays. I think we just always assume it's COVID. He could have terrible diarrhea,
Yeah.
and we can't. What are we going to swab everybody's butts? I mean, I guess we technically could, but you can't even have a sniffle nowadays. It's like
Yeah.
it's such a shame.
Everyone thinks that it's like the end of the world, but I think COVID, in a weird way, really helped stand-up comedians because you're locked home at home and you could just watch specials all the time. You know what I mean?
Wow, Keith, you really found the silver lining. That's exactly what stand-up comics want to do. How did you get in our heads? We want to stay, we don't want to be on the road telling strangers in Mississippi jokes. You nailed it, Keith. That's what we really, really were hoping and wishing for. Can there be a global pandemic so I can watch Chappelle's special again? Oh, please, God, make us all poop our pants
E-
and call it COVID.
Exactly.
You figured it out. Good for you, Keith. You're a problem solver.
Yeah.
You like to
Well,
see half full.
yeah, that's what I like to do, because my special got a lot of hits with the COVID, but then like when I went on the road and stuff, it didn't get a lot of ticket sales. So I don't know how.
It didn't?
No,
Gosh, that's surprising.
that was one of the things I wanted to ask you, like, because like when you started, was it hard for you to sell tickets, and then when you got your special on Tonight Show, it became easier, right?
It does. It gets easier, but audiences change and your stand-up changes, your style changes. I didn't have as much social media. I mean, okay, there was MySpace where you could promote shows, but I mean, my goodness, it wasn't what it is now.
Yeah.
When I started, Keith, back in the 1800s, we had to tell people by horseback where our next gig was. I'm going to take that as an insult. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to take that as an offense, Keith,
Oh,
to my age.
oh,
I'm
I'm sorry.
joking.
I
I'm
didn't mean to
kidding. Oh my
insult you.
God, Keith.
Oh,
Come on. We're palling around over
no,
Zoom.
no,
Come
it's just like
on.
I have Asperger's syndrome. So like when you say, I was like, oh God, what did I do? Like, it's like,
Oh, don't hide behind your Asperger's, Stephen. What? I called you Stephen. I like to say Stephen to
I,
people.
I do look like a
No,
Steven.
you look like a Stephen. I call
Yeah.
everybody Stephen, or I call every woman Cheryl.
Yeah.
I was like, relax, Cheryl.
At least it's not Karen.
It's not. No, I never did Karen. Maybe because I know a lot of nice Karens. But I always, or I call them, or Susan. I'm like, relax, Susan, relax. Yeah, it's so funny. When I was thinking recently, because I had a young comic ask for advice,
Mhm.
and he's a really sweet guy, and he's great. He has great energy, right? You can tell he's like a good person. And I was like, what are you doing in comedy? You're too sweet.
Yeah.
You're too nice.
Uh,
You're like helpful and kind. Like, what are you doing? You got to be a little bit broken. Just a little, not a lot, not too much. Then you're crazy.
yeah. I
Just a
feel like
little.
this is a story about me, but undercover. Like you're.
No, no, not at all. Not at all. No. Why? Have you ever asked me for advice?
Oh no, that's what the podcast is for, to get inside your head, because like I think podcast is like, a lot of people use it just to like interview people, but I use it to try and be a better artist, because I also interview like everybody. So I feel like everybody can teach you something in your own field to be better. You know what I mean?
I love that. Yeah, why not? I like listening to podcasts where I'm going to learn something.
Yeah.
Sure. I love that.
And I don't really like to ask the same questions, because I feel like people, granted, I can't listen to every single interview you've ever done, but like
Yeah.
the ones that I did, I took notes of not to ask during those. You know what I mean?
Ooh. Ooh,
Yeah.
okay, I'm excited. What are your notes?
Oh, my notes is don't talk about the children. She talks about that with Allison Rose. So I was like, all right, we don't need to talk
No,
about the kids.
we can
But
talk about kids. Why not? Well, okay, what are your other questions?
oh no, I was just making like, but you filmed your special pregnant. Like how is that like? Did you wish that you gave birth before you filmed it, or like how did you, like, it was just
So,
bad timing, or what happened?
no, I decided to shoot my special pregnant before it became a thing where every female comedian decided to do that.
Like Ali
Uh,
Wong?
yeah, I mean, I shot my special way before hers. I actually had my baby, my baby was already like a few months old by the
Yeah,
time Allie shot her special. Yeah. So, but
I
that's
get it.
okay. That's okay. I wish her all the best. So no, I really do. There's no, honestly, there's like no reason to, but the reason I shot it pregnant was because I wanted to shoot a new special and I already had a kid and, um, I got pregnant and I was like, well, why wait? Because the thing is, then you have to wait like a whole year.
Right.
So I was like, I'll just shoot it now. But I produced it myself. I shot it, I was there the morning of the shoot at like, 10 a.m. helping with the stage and lights and so I was like part of the production. A lot of comics, they just show up, right? They show up and the stage is already done and lights are already hung and cameras are set, but I was there like when there was just an empty stage and helped load everything in and
Uh,
so it was a different feeling on my end. It was very, very like personal to me. And also it wasn't with Netflix. I was just producing it myself. So um it meant a lot to me. And I still owe the Russian mafia a lot of money for it. But anyways, that's not what we're here to talk about.
no, but no, that you're talking about the comedy specials. But I understand because like on both of my specials I produced myself, but the second one I wasn't really there for the lights or whatever. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
but
It's a different feeling when you're doing it, like you're really doing it from the ground up. You're not just showing up to a theater, which by the way is great as well. I've done that as well.
yeah.
It's a much better feeling. You feel more like, woohoo, I can concentrate on being the comic and it's all fancy and it's all glitzy and they take you to your dressing room and they get you water. Whereas, I was doing everything.
And see, that's what I was curious about. Like, did that like not self-consciously freak you out about your performance and your jokes because you're worrying about to make sure everything like lights up? Because when I did it, like I said on my first special, I feel my first special was terrible because I was so self-conscious about, hey, make sure everyone, lights and stuff. And the second one, I didn't really care. And I felt the second one's the best thing I've ever done. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it makes a big difference. Absolutely. I agree. It was a lot. It was a lot of pressure. Plus, I was pregnant
Pregnant. Yeah.
and I had to pee the entire time I was shooting because I forgot to go before we started rolling because I was too busy focusing on everything else.
Yeah.
So, I peed a little bit the entire time I was on stage, but that's not for this podcast. That's a
Yeah.
different, maybe like a
That's a
medical
trivia
podcast.
note.
Yeah.
Well, were you scared that maybe you would give birth while you're shooting your special?
No, no, because I understand how bodies work, Keith.
Oh, okay. I'm not a female, but if I was a female and I was pregnant, I'd be scared. Like, I really hope I'm not giving birth while I'm doing my special.
No, I mean, look, you can be a female though. Anyone can be a woman now. It's very possible. So don't ever limit yourself. I guess that's my biggest advice to you. You can, at any time, any point, be a
Yeah.
woman. It's very, very easy.
Yeah. I mean, I'll look into that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you have your own podcast, which I looked up. You haven't recorded some in a while, but you've
Yeah.
interviewed some great folks. Like,
I had some really great guests on my podcast. The reason I stopped, I'll tell you why I stopped, is I had to start taking care of my mom.
uh,
And it became such a huge, it was like another, not one kid, but like five kids. So I had to eliminate something out of my life if I wanted to keep my sanity because I had two kids already. I had, this podcast, I had road gigs, I had writing gigs, I was working on so many things. So it was unfortunate and I was sad, but sometimes you have to like make cuts in your life. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to cut out my podcast so I can have more time. So I'm not as stressed and stretched thin.
yeah. Do you feel though that like podcasts actually help comedians nowadays? Because like I listen to podcasts like, and I re-listen to them. I'm thinking, okay, that's funny. That could be like that I interview. That could be a good joke I would put in my act. You know what I mean? Like, do you think like that kind of helps?
You mean the podcast that you're on?
No, just like whenever you interview or like, do you listen to podcasts you've done or, and think, oh, that was actually a funny bit I could write as a joke. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, because I
it's like a
improvise.
tape recorder.
something. Yeah, 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 yeah. Um, I mean, I don't remember distinctly thinking that, but I do think that anytime you are putting out content and you're kind of, creating like obviously if it's a comics podcast, you want it to be funny, right?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have to be obviously, but I would like them to be funny. I think it gets your creative juices going, and I think it's always a plus, especially when you talk to other comics. Like the green room is probably my second favorite thing after standing on stage and telling jokes. It really truly is the green room. Hanging out with comics, shooting the shit, just oh, can I swear on this?
Oh
Sorry.
no, no, but it's okay.
Oh, sorry. Okay,
I'm
I
just
apologize.
kidding. I got you
Oh,
back.
I don't know what the rules are for Asperger's. All right. Anyway, so um so I think anytime, yeah,
Uh,
it's good. It's beneficial.
what's some of your like? Because I know we've all had like great green room stories, but I also know we've all had terrible green room stories. So I was wondering, what's one great one and what's one terrible one?
I mean, I do have one terrible one. I don't know if I should use names though, so I probably won't.
Okay.
But it was two comics, and one was I can say that it was a female comic. And she's pretty big, good big name, definitely a name out there.
Right.
Um, and the other one was a male comic who also, is has credits, and he's a respected comic. I say this not because credits are important, but it's kind of important to the story. And they got into an argument in the green room,
Mhm.
and it was over something just so silly and ridiculous. And I felt like they were is also like a look, just you need to listen to me because I have more television credits. I don't know if that's what she was saying at all, but it felt very um first of all, comics should never argue in a
Yeah.
green room. That's your workplace, number one. You have something private you want to discuss, you guys got to go do it somewhere else. There's other people in here, and we're all either about to go on stage or just got off stage, or it's like take it outside. But whatever, they
That's
didn't.
why there's always a yard house by the club, so you could go there and argue there.
Exactly. You go to the other side of the tracks. There's always some sort of, train, old recycling depot, whatever. Anyway, so but they got into it,
Yeah.
and it got hairy, and the female comic got up and left. That was it. She was like, I'm out. She left.
Wow.
And it wasn't anything political. It wasn't anything like, you're anti this. It wasn't anything like major that you would say, well, look, they were making racist remarks. It wasn't anything like that. I think they were arguing about which, Batman movie was better. I'm not kidding. It was that ridiculous. I'm not kidding. And it got so heated. And we were all just sitting there going, can you guys drop this? And they wouldn't. And they wouldn't
Oh.
drop it. And so
Oh.
she just left. And I felt really bad. I was like, oh my gosh, what a waste. Take it to the stage. How about that? Utilize it.
Yeah.
Utilize your anger about the Batman movies on stage. That's what it's for. So that was one of the weird ones. I was like, oh. And then
You should have broken the ice and be like, guys, we all know George Clooney's the best Batman.
he really was. He just was. The nipples on the suit. I mean, it was all amazing. Did he have the one with the nipples? I can't remember.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
think he did.
he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can't really think of like the best green room moment, but I will say some of the best ones were at Comedy and Magic, and I really hope and pray that it comes back post COVID. But
I heard it just got bought, so I heard it
yeah, you're
is.
hearing like little rumors circulating, and it's always like some crazy rumor that you're like, Carrot Top just bought it to house all of his props, and you're like, what? Are you sure?
Carrot Top's gonna save it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like you always hear like these crazy things. Barbara Streisand's using it as a music studio. Are you sure? So, it was in the Comedy Magic Green Room, which is one of the best green rooms in the entire country. And it's when everybody, all the comics are great laughers. What does that mean? Not just like, oh, your laugh is a great laugh, like your the actual physical, like the sound of it. No, I mean they're givers.
Right.
If a comic is riffing and there's something going back and forth and people are tagging, whatever jokes they're talking about, and everybody in the green room is laughing and giving, that is mwah, chef's kiss, the best. Because it shows that you're there to, first of all, support. You're not competing in a green room. You want to have fun, you want to hang out. It's the camaraderie of it. It's the, again, like I said earlier, the creative juices are flowing and you're there to laugh at each other and nobody's going to be a hater and
Yeah.
not give. Do you know that? Am I making myself clear?
No, 100%. Yeah,
That's
I
one of
get
the
that.
best. I don't have
Yeah.
a specific moment, but I have a lot of comedy and magic moments.
I think because that club, uh, that club is really known for having all headliners on every single show and not really having openers and features. You know what I mean? So I've never done that club, which means I'm not a headliner. But
Oh, Keith, maybe they
yeah,
saw your first special and not the second one that is your favorite. Send them the second one.
no, I mean, you know what it is like I think this is also like a curse of the people you run around with in comedy. If some clubs don't like that person, I think they automatically don't like you. You
I
you know what I
mean,
mean?
I don't know if that's a hard, fast rule. Maybe I can't speak for every booker,
Yeah,
but also it is a club where you have to kind of be around for a while and
yeah.
kind of pay your dues ish, I guess. Well, how long you been doing stand up?
17 years.
Okay, that is a very long time, Keith. You don't
Yeah,
even look like you've been doing life for 17
I
years.
know. Yeah. I'm 35, so I started when I was 15.
All right, well,
Yeah.
we're not going to count the first 5 years. So
Yeah, I don't count the first 5 years because, to be honest, I've only been
you were
good.
a child.
Yeah, I've only been good for maybe 6 years.
Okay, well, I like your honesty.
Yeah.
I like your honesty. Yeah.
So, I feel like with comedy though, the first they say like the first 7 years you're trying to find your voice. I feel like because of my Asperger's, I was very nonverbal. I feel like the first 7 years I was trying to find my verbalness, and
What do
then
you what do you mean nonverbal? You didn't really speak?
no, stand up really helped me to speak better. Like I went to speech therapies and stuff, and I did stand up comedy, and like I feel like I could talk better with comedy. So like that was like my thing. Like,
Can
does
you
that make
imagine
sense?
if you could only communicate with a mic in your hand, like everywhere you went? Like you had
Yeah,
to go renew your license at the DMV and you're tapping it. All right, is this thing on? Okay, I'm ready to like can you like that's the
yeah.
way that you
Well, that was
better.
that was the only thing that made me happy was comedy. So like I went because I bought a fake ID, not for drugs or alcohol. I went for to do comedy at the bars, and so I would watch these comics, and it was just so fascinating to me because like you everyone has their own story, and everyone in my mind at the time was funny. Now that I'm older and I see those guys, I was like, yeah, they're not, you know what I mean? But like it's like a story. So
And where
uh
was this? What part of the country?
California.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Where?
uh, yeah, so I snuck into Center Fields, which is in Huntington Beach, on Beach and I want to say Task, and then they had Tap
Okay, been
House.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, like these are real shithole clubs, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah, I've been there. I've worked
yeah.
them all.
So I mean that's how I got into comedy, and like I said, I was very nonverbal, and then like I started doing the open mics and stuff, and then I went to speech therapy because like people were making fun of me because they couldn't understand me at the open mics. So I feel comedy has really saved my life. That's what I'm trying to say.
I love that. My gosh.
Uh,
My
But
gosh, Steve, you have quite a story.
it's Keith.
Oh, Steve, it's the same
But
thing.
no, like I was saying, I do think that like some clubs will only book, because I toured a lot with Norm, and I feel like some clubs that he did I could get in easily, but the clubs that he wasn't allowed, it's hard for me to get into. You know what I mean? So like that's why it was hard for me to get into comedy magic. I feel like it
He
just
couldn't get into comedy and magic, Norm Macdonald?
I no, he didn't like comedy and magic. He didn't like Richard.
Oh, all right. Well,
So
that's silly.
yeah, so so I feel like that was like a personal, you know what I mean? That was just an example I was just
I
using.
gotcha. Yeah, I gotcha. I guess. I don't know if that's a hard, fast rule anymore. I say you keep trying.
Yeah. Well, now that
Hope
it's
it comes
out
back.
of business, I think I got a good chance.
You have a good chance. Well, once Carrot Top opens it back up to store all of his props, I bet
Yeah.
you'll get a spot.
Well, yeah, I'm close with Carrot Top, so I could get in now.
Well, see, look at you dropping names. Look at
uh,
you.
I knew Carrot Top back when his name was Scott.
Scott Thompson.
Yeah, I always think it's funny how like if you have like a different like stage name, you go do the DMV for your license, right? And like it say his license, it now says Carrot Top.
It
Yeah.
does. He legally.
No, but I mean, wouldn't that
Oh,
be funny?
yeah. No, I think legally he should be able to change it. Do people call him Mr. Top? Like, I'm curious.
That's what I'm curious about. You get like
Yeah,
you get pulled over now, Mr. Top.
Mr. Top, come on out, and he comes out with like a toilet bowl on his head.
Uh, Now I wanted to ask about the Tonight Show because you started in the phone booth. So
Photo,
like, you there?
photo booth.
The photo booth.
Yeah.
So you did that, and then you did stand up. So like that's not traditional. So like how can we then start off doing stand up, doing that? You know what I mean?
Well, I think I'm confused about your question, but the photo booth was supposed to be a one-off little sketch or a little correspondence piece.
Uh huh.
Um, whenever anything is out in the field, they call it like a correspondence piece, but I wasn't on camera. I was just a voice.
Yeah.
And
I guess
what
that's my
happened?
question because a
Yeah, it
lot.
was just a voice. Yeah, and then it did really well the first time, and it was supposed to just be like a one-off thing, and it turned into 8.5 years of photo booth.
Yeah, that. I mean, that's kind of cool, but like, how come like you never, you didn't say, look, I just want to do the stand up. You know what
I
I mean?
did say that many, many, many times.
Yeah.
Many times. Speaking of comedy and magic, that's where you had to showcase to do stand up.
Uh,
So I would go down and showcase for the two gentlemen that used to book the show. And they always found a reason not to book me. And I
uh,
always did well on the showcases, but they always found a reason. And later on, I learned from the head writer who was a guest on my podcast. Hello, full circle. And he wasn't my boss anymore. He wasn't, one of the EPs. So he could be honest with me and tell me. And he said, "Yeah, we just didn't want you to do stand up on the show because their reasoning was, why can't you just be happy with what you have?"
yeah, that's kind of like insulting. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like,
yes. You know what, Kevin? You're right. It is. It is very insulting. And I appreciate you seeing that.
yeah,
It is. And I was. He apologized and he said sorry, which was nice. He did.
yeah,
He's like, "I really want to apologize." I said, that could have been huge for me.
yeah. But now, like on the bright side, though, now like it's all about your own specials that you produce yourself. Christopher Titus produces his himself. You know what I mean? So like I feel like there's more juice on the specials than back 20-25 years ago, where the Tonight Show could give you a career. I feel
Yeah,
like the specials now will give you the career. You know what I mean?
absolutely. And I think you also have, a lot of control over it when you own it. And it's like podcasts. You own it. You own the material, you own the content. Do with it whatever you want. Um, it's just changed so much. I mean, people become TikTok famous. Comics,
Yeah,
comics that are on TikTok get like millions and millions of views on TikTok. I mean, who would think? And
yeah.
then that's how they don't even you don't even need to put out a special anymore. Just
Do you
put all your stand up on TikTok and you'll be able to put butts in seats.
do you feel TikTok though, like they could obviously put butts in seats, but do you personally feel that TikTok is also like insulting too? Because like, have you ever seen someone do TikTok with like, say, your material? You know what I mean?
Yes, where they lip sync your joke.
Yeah,
You know, yes.
because you have no rights to that then.
You have no rights to that. Yeah. And it can be a little annoying, or you can look at it and say, you know what? It's a compliment, I guess, because look, people share so much stuff now. They don't have to even lip sync to your stand up anymore. They can just have a channel where they do compilations of stand up and include yours, and there you go. Now they have viewers and followers and sponsors, and YouTube is paying them. I mean, who knows, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's so many workarounds and so many loopholes that it's just different. It's just different now. So we have to just find a way
To make it work.
to make it work. Yeah.
Yeah. I heard that YouTube is the new mafia. That's what I heard.
What's that mean? What does that mean?
That's how like the mafia would pay you for like, if you kill a guy or whatever. Like
Okay.
YouTube will pay you if you like get a certain amount of views. That's what I heard.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't, I don't know if that's true, but
I guess I can see that comparison, except for Sans the killing.
well, I was just trying to, put a little funny in the,
Gotcha.
yeah. All right. Whatever. And then my last two questions for you.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you a great question. So I saw on your Instagram that you're on Netflix as a joke with Tom Pomba. Like were you guys podcasting? Like,
So Tom has a show on there, and it's with Fortune Feimster, and they they record on, I think just on Zoom now. I
yeah,
think
like
because they
everyone
used to.
else. Yeah.
I've done their show when they were in studio, but now I think they're just on Zoom. So Fortune is shooting right now, so I'm going to be going in and just kind of filling in for her as a co-host here and there.
So you're the
Um,
second sidekick, right?
yes, I'm the side.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
you're like Nightwing to his Batman. Like when
Oh,
Robin's not
wow.
around, he calls
That is
Nightwing.
deep, really
Yeah.
deep.
Yeah.
Good for you. Good for you, Kevin. I Keith, I know it's
Yeah.
Keith.
No.
I know it's Keith. Um, I tour with Tom sometimes. We're pals, we're friends, so it's gonna be really fun. I'm very excited.
Uh, have you ever done like a podcast live with audience members where like, they like at a comedy club?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, we've done that. I've done that a bunch. I've done it at festivals. It's great. It's fun. I used to do a podcast with Karen Runtowski.
oh,
She's
nice.
a very funny comic.
Yeah.
Please, everybody listening, check her out. She's so good.
Yeah.
And I've done my parenting one a while ago. And you know what? You've inspired me. Maybe I will pick up podcasting again. We'll see.
I think you should because I have a lot of fun doing it because I feel like I said I feel like it makes me a better comic maybe if I'm not a better comic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And look, I had dozens and dozens of listeners. So if I can touch, one or two people.
who would you say is the hardest person you've ever interviewed?
I don't know about hard, but that's a really good question.
Yes, I got a
will
good
say
question.
you did one. You did it. You did it. Barry Katz wasn't hard. He wasn't difficult, but he likes to like, just his
Likes-
personality. He likes
He
to
likes to give you a
challenge.
20-minute story on every question.
I'm telling you, and he likes to challenge, and he likes to kind of like quiz you in your own podcast, and then he's questioning you, and you're questioning yourself, and you're like, "Why? You're my guest." And he put me on the spot, and I was just like, I messed up. I knew he was from Boston, but I said New York, and he's like, "How dare you?" But he wasn't joking like I was joking with you at the front, at the top. He was
Yeah.
serious, like he was offended, and I was like, "Oh my Lanta." I mean,
Uh,
he's very, he's a character unto
no, yeah.
himself. So I'm not saying
No,
it was a bad one, but it was definitely, exhausting.
I think if I think because people just know Barry Katz, from the clubs because he'll come by sometimes just to watch the show. But like if you have him as a guest, you don't really, unless you listen to his podcast, which is a good podcast, but you don't really know who he is. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah,
think
I
when
mean, he turned my podcast where I was interviewing him into like a self-help for me. I was questioning everything about my entire life. I was like, you know what? You're right. Maybe this isn't for me.
I interviewed Barry twice and he was the exact same way with me.
Yeah. And
But
I
I
was like,
interviewed him again because I kind of liked it because I thought, you know what, it's kind of refreshing to have a challenge like that. You know what I mean?
absolutely. Of course, I would interview him again.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But it's definitely like, the whole time I was like, oh my God, how much longer?
You have to take a pill, like a bottle full of Xanax just to
Yeah.
survive.
Really? I mean, I had to call a therapist afterwards and my mother, and I had to come clean on a few things with my husband. I mean, it's like a come to Jesus moment with him.
It probably got so bad where you actually had to call Barry Katz and talk to him about
Yeah, I was like, I got to talk to you about my interview with you. What should I do?
it.
Yeah, he's a character.
Now, my last question for you. I don't know if this is true because like you could read stuff on the internet and people could just like type whatever. But did you have a feud with Chelsea lately?
Her name's Chelsea Handler.
Oh yeah, yeah, her, yeah.
Um, well, why would it be on the internet? What?
I don't know.
Oh, okay, that's weird. No, we don't have a feud. She just wasn't very nice to me. So, I mean, unless she has a feud with me,
Right.
my only thing is she just was when we worked together, she just wasn't nice to me. So, I don't have that like warm, fuzzy feeling that people have about her.
Yeah. So like you don't like see her and give her hugs or whatever. You just like what? Yeah.
I mean, no. First of all, I never really see her. I don't think she's hanging out in the Comedy and Magic green room.
Yeah. I was gonna say, have you seen Chelsea lately?
Ah, um, we should probably end the podcast there. That was a big laugh. You always end on a big laugh. No, I have honestly nothing against her. And I know people are not going to believe that because they want people to have feuds. I
Yeah.
really truly don't. Here's one thing I've learned, especially when you have kids, all the BS in the world, ugh, it doesn't matter. It truly does not matter. Find what's important to you in your life and focus on that. The people that focus on like I have a feud with this person and this person did me wrong and I'm going to challenge them to a duel or whatever, like I have no time. I'm exhausted. I didn't even put on underwear today. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
I am busy, so I have to just take all the extracurricular stuff out of my life. So do I wish her ill or unwell? No, not at all. Not at all. I
Huh.
have nothing against her. But do I think she's a pal and a good friend to have around? Not for me personally, but
Yeah.
I'm sure she is to other people. I mean, look, she's surrounded by people who love her, but she was never really nice to me. So can't say that.
I actually agree with you on that because like I've gotten into my fair shares of drama feuds, and like I look at it now where like I'm older and more wiser, and it's like,
Yeah.
at the time it really hurt me, and I wanted to hold on to that negative energy. But
Yeah.
now that I'm older, it's like, you know what? It doesn't help me because like, I lost my grandfather, I lost my best friend, and it's like at the point, it's like, I'm just that doesn't make me a better Keith. You know what I mean?
100%. You nailed
Yeah.
it. That's
Yeah.
really truly, of course, there's going to be, disagreements and you're going to fight over which Batman movie was the best or whatever,
Yeah.
and people are going to be in fights. And I really hope those two comics that got in that really awkward, weird fight have let it go. I'm sure they have. But there really is no reason to hold grudges. And look, there might be a reason. I'll take that back. There might be a reason. Like you might be in the right to hold a grudge about something that happened that really hurt you. But the best thing to do is to moveon.org. That's the
Yeah.
best thing to do. So don't live in that space.
Yeah.
It could be something that upset you and hurt you, but just don't live in that space. It's such a waste of your time and energy.
Yeah. And like I said, I mean, I was with Norm for 8 years and it wasn't all roses and cake. There were some dark, when you're on the roads, it was a real
Yeah.
friendship. And I just remember when he passed, those arguments and that we had and stuff. It's like it wasn't worth it because it's like I miss my friend. You know what I mean? So it's not worth
Yes,
hanging on to the negative stuff. You got to hang on to the bright, beautiful stuff.
that's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%.
So, where can the folks at home follow you and support you?
Please come follow me and support me. My Instagram is Kiracomedy. My Twitter is Kiracomedy. You can find me on Facebook. Good luck spelling Soltanovich. I'm not going to do it for you. You're just going to have to go out and figure it out on your own. I'm not going to hand everything to you.
Yeah. Because people listening to this, they're adults.
Exactly. Be an adult. Help yourself sometimes. So Kiracomedy, that's me.
All right.
That's the website, which needs updating, and I'm so sorry if you go there. I haven't updated it in so long. But you can listen to old podcasts and see my talk show in a sauna called Let's Get Sweat.
Yeah. Well, I really hope you go back into podcasting. And, I will say you're the one person I've interviewed that I've actually never face-to-face met. I've never done a show with you.
Oh, my
So,
gosh.
it was really nice interviewing you and getting to know you.
Well, Tyler, it was so nice to meet you and get to know you a little bit. And I hope we get to see each other in person
All right.
very soon.
Well, thank you for doing my podcast and have a great day.
Thanks, Keith.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
And then,
You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.